Um, First and foremost, make sure you guys share, like, subscribe, all that good shit. So let's get straight to it. First and foremost, let's talk about the earnings. Today is the last major day of big time companies that are doing earnings calls today. Once again, the earnings calls is when they announce how the company did the quarter before. Just to kind of briefly go over that, we got Amazon, which obviously is the big one to look into, MasterCard, Comcast, Cable, T-Mobile, Anheuser-Busch, which is like Budweiser and shit like that. S&P Global, who else we got? It is important to look this stuff up because a lot of these companies that are doing their earnings calls are have gone up since then. In terms of holy shit, there's like hundreds of companies. I'm not reading all this shit. Once again, just as a reminder, if you want to see all the companies that are doing their earnings calls today, just go to Nasdaq.com. It has the full list of it. But once again, Amazon is the big one. Amazon is the big one. And I don't know if I said this last on Tuesday, but they have given hints to say that they could be possibly taking on cryptocurrency in the future. That's one of the reasons why Bitcoin and all the cryptos over the last couple of days have shot up the way that they have. So, in terms of the market today, the market is pretty flat. A pretty simple reason why the unemployment rate is still above what they expected. They expected it to be at 380,000, ended up being at 400,000. Also, the gross domestic product, the GDP, a lot of people don't know what this is. It's basically a measure of all the goods and services produced in the country. Um, they actually accelerated 6.5%, and it's supposed to accelerate. Like, that's how inflation works. You want the GDP to go up. We're producing more things and we actually consume more things. It was predicted to go about 8%. So it's below what it's expected to do. So those are the two reasons why shit is flat. If it wasn't for that, really the market would be super up. But those two things just speak more to inflation, our favorite word of the day. This is just something to really keep in mind because these things all uh, attribute to why the food costs have gone up, why the cars have gone up, why the housing market is what it is. All these things fall into this same thing. So it's not just about stocks. And I know that this shit is boring. I know that this is something that isn't a popular thing to talk about, but it is what it is. So Robinhood. Robinhood is going public today. We know who Robinhood is. I don't really fuck with Robinhood. I've spoken numerous times that Robinhood, it's hard to tell who they really are. They say they're for the people, but in reality, they are ran by hedge fund companies, or at least they're funded by some of the biggest hedge fund companies that short companies. So you really don't really know about this company, but at the end of the day, they are going public today. They announced that the share is going to start at $38. Knew this was a topic today. It should be the topic. This really, the other shit don't really matter. The Robinhood is really the topic of discussion today. Now, is this a good investment? Is this a good investment? That's really the biggest question. Is Robinhood the stock a good investment? If we're talking just sheerly numbers, this is more than likely what's going to happen. They actually just announced yesterday that they've taken a huge share that normally goes towards like the higher ups, like the people who have like access to stocks at first, and they've actually reverted those and made them more available to people who actually use Robinhood. This platform has always been known for working for the retail investor. That's what this platform is known for. So what they are relying on is the retail investor to get behind this, like they've gotten by other stocks. Now, they probably will. The stock, when it goes, like it's predicted to go at 38. I mean, if we're being frank with each other, it's going to probably start off higher than that. It'll probably start off in the 40s, maybe even in the 50s. But if we have any idea of how Coinbase worked and how Coinbase actually came about when it went public, I would assume that the same thing is going to happen with Robinhood. It's going to start off high initially because the retail investors are going to get behind it because it looks like something that's going to be promising. Then eventually it's going to go back down to around the price that it's at right now. And then long term, it'll end up probably going upwards to about 70, 80, maybe even $100 per share. Once again, that's something that could happen. Now, should you invest into it is the bigger question. I am not investing into Robinhood. Like I am not doing that. Just a couple of months ago, they just had the biggest payout, over $70 million in terms of falsifying people's price points, people being able to pull out money. Like they have some serious issues that they're trying to get out of. And like I said, them offering more shares to the retail investors just a way for them to kind of show that they are the people's champ type shit. But I see through that shit. This company is not credible. Like I probably shouldn't even be saying this on YouTube. It's just not really a credit. Like right now, they haven't shown to be honorable. Like if anybody who remembers the whole short squeeze situation back in March, in terms of how they have put a block on people putting bets in for AMC during that time, because they were working with hedge fund companies. And now with this whole $70 million payout thing, I would advise anybody who's considering investing into Robinhood to just Google Robinhood $70 million payout. It'll give you some insight, and I've actually spoke about this. Actually, I think I spoke about it on my Patreon page, but you know. That's something to know about when you're dealing with a publicly traded company. How much hush money are they paying out because they haven't done right from a customer service standpoint? So for me, I'm not fucking with it. I'm not telling somebody not to fucking with, because based on what I just explained in terms of how how this process could work, if you invest into it long term, you probably will make money. But one thing about investing into stocks, it's not always about the dollar amount. Like a lot of times you want to invest into companies that you feel comfortable with, because when you feel comfortable with a certain stock, you don't really get nervous if it goes down a couple dollars or go up a couple dollars. You know that it's reputable, so it's going to always eventually go this direction. Perfect example is Apple. Like Apple has its times where it's flat as fuck. There's times where the shit is going down to 120, but it's always going to continuously go up because they just have a reputation of being a credible company. Now, with that, doesn't mean it's as volatile, which means it won't shoot up as high, but it also means it won't go down as low. But really, the biggest thing is having a peace of mind and knowing that I'm investing into a company that actually is reputable. And if I don't close my eyes and wake up the next morning, I'm not going to hear some crazy ass story that would make me think that this company is a piece of shit. And so far this year, Robinhood has had multiple instances that have shown that they're not really for the retail investor. They just kind of promote themselves as that. And I still got money in Robinhood, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm not invested into them. But that money is from last year's money that I just refuse to pull out of because I have such low price points for certain shares. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm not using Robinhood. I just haven't put money into Robinhood since that short squeeze that happened with AMC originally back in February and March. Like I won't put another dollar into it. You know, TD Ameritrade. There's a million other platforms that will do you right. So for me, I would recommend to not really deal with that. Once again, for my Patreon people who actually follow my Patreon page, every single week I do a listing for my VIP guys of all the companies that are going public this 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 following week. And I'm gonna pull up one because I normally don't do this, but I will pull up one time from last week that I feel like that you probably could look into, that would actually be a bit more of a benefit. So let me just pull this up real quick. Bear with me. I wasn't really expecting to do this. This is kind of on the fly, but I feel like if you're gonna look into things like this, what companies you should at least look into that could actually benefit you. So let's see what we got here. There was about 20 different companies that actually went public. Duolingo is one of them. Now, this is something to keep in mind. It is a Asian Chinese based company, and if you follow my Patreon page, you might want to look into that. The other one that I was looking into that is actually the one. Let me just put, where is that? Teeds. Is it Teeds? Traeger? No. I don't remember. Follow the Patreon page. It's on there. Shout out to my VIP guys. But there's a whole list every single week of companies that, I let what these companies are about, what exactly they do, and what they're priced at. There's better companies that are coming out this week going public that may not have the same pizzazz as a Robinhood. But Robinhood is a profitable company. They just announced last quarter that they actually made 300 times their, return from the quarter before. So it's not like they're not getting money. Yeah, they're getting money, but all money ain't good money. If you're looking at it from just a number standpoint, then it might be a good investment. But if you're looking at it from a company standpoint, which you should always do when it comes to stocks, because you're not investing in stocks, you're investing in the companies, you want to maybe probably pass this one up. It's just too many stocks that I have listed on here. Like I said, over 21 companies went public. But this is the reason why I always tell people to fuck with the Patreon page, because each one of these companies are ground floor companies. And a lot of these companies, like for instance, you got companies like Dole. You know, Dole, the fruit companies, they're going public. They went public this week. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? It's only predicted to be at like 23 million, but they're the world's largest fruit and vegetable company in the world. You think a company like that is ever going to fall off? I don't think so. That's a reputable company. This is a company, Dole, that everybody knows about. So if you invest into a stock like that, it's highly likely that you have to deal with any of the bullshit that Robinhood may have to offer. And this is just an example. This wasn't the stock I was talking about, but this is just an example. So, but that's pretty much it, man. Like I said, there's other stocks that are going public. There's hella stocks doing earnings calls today. Amazon is the biggest one. But just as a reminder, the reason why the stock market is flat today, the GDP is lower than it was supposed to be, and the unemployment rate is higher than what it's supposed to be. It was predicted at 380,000. It ended up being 400,000. So if you're looking at your stocks today and wondering why it's flat, remember today is Thursday. Today is the unemployment rate watch. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will have some new content on Patreon tomorrow. We will talk specifically about stocks that could boom going into this third quarter that you really want to keep an eye out for. So that'll be on my Patreon page tomorrow. Live streaming, we will be back next Tuesday. Same place, not necessarily the same time. Y'all know how I give it up. But shout out to everybody supporting, and I will see y'all later.